Hello everyone, Skippy here, and welcome to One Piece episode 944, directed by Masahiro Hosoda and supervised by Kenji Yokoyama. While One Piece anime alumni Yokoyama has had nothing but hit after hit in terms of episode quality this arc, and looks to be bringing it all home once again with very well drawn corrections that harken back to the days of old, Masahiro Hosoda's inconsistency as an episode director in Wano is making me cautiously optimistic for this entry. Every time he has an episode that checks off all the right boxes and has that perfect amount of zest and flair, there's another one that follows it up by being a disappointing and overall confusing feeling episode. And while the board on display in the preview looks like it's on the better side of the spectrum, with terrifying shots of Big Mom and lots of impactful and vibrant compositing, the best idea for me personally is to go in with a clean slate in terms of expectations, so I don't end up being disappointed if it kills Yokoyama's recent hot streak. Of course, though, at worst there's bound to be some cool key animation from Yokoyama that'll make up the majority of the episode, and Masahiro Kitazaki looks to be helping a fair bit again in terms of bringing the ferociousness of o-lin's prison break to the screen. So will episode 944 manage to effectively wave away all my fears? Well, let's break through those gates and find out. This episode covers the remaining 8 pages of chapter 945, and that not only leads to it being a pretty slow episode, but a pretty meh one as far as adaptation and direction go. While for the most part the episode feels cleanly done and only really suffers from slower pacing, as it still takes every chance it gets to add in more continuity filler where it's desperately needed to make things more impactful, I feel like Hosoda's direction honestly wavers a bit and doesn't really give many key moments their time to shine. Scenes like Kinemon and Doji's spat that should feel full of anger, spite, but also hope just kind of feel nothing and flat in terms of line delivery and generic music placement, lacking that real oomph that the scene needed to really sell Kinemon's desperation, and is something that is a common occurrence throughout the entirety of the episode. Most big moments just lack that real power that should go into them due to either poor music placement or ho-hum direction on the voice direction side. That makes it feel less oh shit, and more just, alright. This combined with it being an overall slog of an episode, only makes for an experience that I wouldn't really call bad, because even with all that, there's still some filler to enjoy, and the majority of the content is done about as well as it could be, but it's just painfully mediocre all in all, with more examples as to why being evident in this episode's board. I don't usually think of scale and powerful usage of color when I think of Hosoda, so I'm not necessarily surprised that his board feels quite barren in that regard, but it unfortunately leaves us with a cramped and overall unimaginative storyboard that, like his last one, gets by on the bare minimum. Once again, the brief moments of vibrance from the preview were basically all it had to offer in terms of pure visual flair, and the large size of Udon in comparison to such huge hulking creatures like Big Mom and Queen feels almost non-existent. It never takes a moment to zoom out and give you a real look at these two monstrous beings standing pretty close to one another, which kills the scale tenfold and just makes it feel too close for comfort. Top that off with Queen's transformation being weirdly bordered with the camera once again never being scaled back a bit to get a full idea of it, alongside really standard and stock compositions that only really serve to kill those poorly directed moments that I mentioned before even more, and leaves me with a board that's only really carried by Kenji Yokoyama's lovely and familiar corrections that are still as solid as ever, and some pretty lively and fun key animation from Masahiro Kitazaki that helps Big Mom's break-in and her group's reaction to it feel quite lively. I wasn't expecting much from 944 to begin with, so I'm glad that I didn't get my hopes up whatsoever, but it's a bit unfortunate the rather meh episode seems to be Hosoda's new standard, and it sadly kills Yokoyama's solid track record of episodes this arc, even if he was still one of the best parts of it and not at fault at all. However, it's not all a sea of mediocrity, as the preview for next week's episode 945 looks pretty damn good as far as this bit of the story is concerned. The storyboard on show here is already displaying a level of scale and color that 944 lacked in almost every way, and stands right alongside what looks to be Kazuya Hisada's expressive corrections and key animation that add to the already promising outlook of this episode's quality. We don't know who the director is just yet due to the staff list not being available at the time of writing this video, but I hope that whoever it is manages to only show more of what's going on here directorially in the finished product, and shows Hosoda's efforts just how it's done. Anyways guys, that's it for now. I'm Skippy, and this episode might as well have been named Chopper Expressions the episode.